So I'm Jan Kurtéyn. I'm head of production here in Gent's radio pharmacy. Gent is Gent University Hospital. So as I told previously, I've been working with Roland for almost 20 years.
It's close to.
Close to. We've started collaborating about 2006 with the ambition to set up a GMP production center of FDG for IBA in Gent, and that was done together in parallel with the site in Brussels. Around 2009, I think. So the site in Brussels went live as a first site, and
March
around
2007.
Yeah, and about 2009, management has decided that there was not in the near future a need for a second production facility in Belgium. Suppose the prospect of FDG and the raise in volume was not as was anticipated to be higher than it was in reality, and we have been doing in Gent for IBA for 2-3 years. We've been serving as R&D facility, test facility, validation
for
facility
development
of cyclotron equipment, synthesis equipment. We've been doing validations, pharmaceutical validations, and so. And 2013, so in 2010, IBA underwent a big structural change. So IBA sold its pharma business.
You mean IBA molecular?
IBA sold IBA molecular. Or just the compartment in you had North America.
To Mallinckrodt or to Curium?
It was in the first time was an American-based investment firm, SK Capital.
Capital, yes.
And then later it was sold, but then I lost a little bit track of the Curium business. So then that created Curium. It continued a little bit under the name IBA Molecular, but then changed its name to Curium. There was an integration, etc., etc. But at that time, in 2011, more or less, it was decided that the facility in Gent would not be part of the new network, and so IBA started discussion with the hospital, and in 2013 concluded the transfer of the business of the hospital in. As entirely as a hospital as an owner, but in the meantime we have set up manufacturing capacity for FDG. We have obtained in 2008, beginning 2008, our first GMP license for the manufacturing of FDG. Of course, this was discontinued as the site was handed over, sold to the university hospital. Because it's not only the site was sold, we were not sold. we had the opportunity to stay and to start a new business here at the hospital. And so we have been since then developing, so we do our own FDG manufacturing or GMP production. And since then we have steadily been growing. We are expanding.
I'm sorry, Jan. You are doing your own FDG production since 2008?
Well, basically we've started FDG production as Gent University Hospital must have been just in the 1990s. It has been done in the old cyclotron. And so this activity was then transferred here. But since we have, so the manufacturing here started in 2006 of the FDG.
Yes, and I remember 2007, there was the inspector Wim van Linde,
Van Linde.
yeah, Van Linde, who came on inspection to grant the GMP certification. That was 2000.
Funny thing is, he
Yeah.
will be here in May
He's
as our
coming
new
again?
inspector.
Again,
yes.
Wim?
Yes.
Oh, he's grey hair now.
No. Yes.
So to have a general understanding where we are and what is happening here, we are in ЮЗэд Gent. It's a big hospital.
Yeah, it's one of the largest hospital in our province. We have about 1,000 beds, more or less.
Yeah.
So there is.
It's the biggest one of Oost-Vlaanderen.
Yeah. 1,000 beds, more or less. I think daily there's about 6,000 people working for the hospital here, together with the university, because the university hospital, it's a campus of 10,000 people working here every day. So it's
with big nuclear
quite
medicine
large.
department for radionuclear therapy, for radiotherapy, for diagnostic.
So I'm the radio pharmacy to which I belong is part of the nuclear medicine department. We have 4 SPECT cameras, of which 2 SPECT CTs. We have 2 PET cameras, and we have a facility of 4 rooms for radioligand therapy.
Okay. For iodine or for different?
For iodine, lutetium, yes. The
Actinium?
other actinium we don't do. No. So it's lutetium, iodine. The other treatments are done. The patient comes here and leaves after his treatment.
And in your radiopharmacy department, you are responsible for only PET molecules, or
We do
also for
we do everything.
SPECT, for
Yes.
radiotherapy?
We do all the things. So we have 4 laboratories, in which we have 1 laboratory where we do the reconstitution activities with technetium, where we make the single doses for the lutetium, also the PET tracers that we don't inject with the radiopharmaceutical multi-dose injector. So we have also a system, is Commande system that we use for injecting, but for the other tracers we do that manually in the laboratory. Then we have the cyclotron laboratory, where we have 2 clean rooms for the production of the PET tracers that we make here, among which is FDG. And we have another laboratory where we produce the lutetium. It's lutetium PSMA that we produce for the treatment. So that's a separate laboratory. So about 2013 we transferred, and since then we have been gradually increasing our production, so increasing the FDG production capacity.
You built a new building, or?
No, in the existing building. In the existing building.
And this building is a part of hospital, or is it's a kind of satellite?
No. It's completely owned and operated by the hospital, and you could say that we are part of the hospital's pharmacy, although the management and budget-wise we are completely depending on the nuclear medicine department.
I would say about because when the radiopharmacy site existing so long, from time to time you need to do any changes or upgrade, and sometimes it's really complex because of existing some constructional part and etc. So you are not so flexible sometimes. How you how you are dealing with this situation?
Well, for new business, so the radiotherapy, so what we call the Teраностик laboratory, is a completely new laboratory. So we have had the opportunity to build a new lab in the existing building. So there was free space, and it was
inside the building.
Inside the building was constructed. You see, GMP also evolves, and so recently we've had the Annex 1, so we had to adapt to it. What we do in Belgium, we can, because we are an academic center, there is a way of discussing with authorities. So authorities, when it's pure academic work, and so we are not a commercial producer, so when it's come to academic work, you can discuss a little, and so we have done minor modification in our clean room to satisfy the new GMP Annex 1 regulation. So that was agreed on. So
because I presume the regulation also evolving somehow.
Well,
for example,
well,
the regulation 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yes, of course, but you know, from the beginning already, the concept of the sites in Beta Plus as well as here, when it was conceived, it was 2003, 2004. About that time, that concept was there. Already at that time, the objective was to follow the GMP rules and to have a structure meeting GMP. Yeah. No, of course you are right when you say that in the meantime there are changes in the concept. Yeah, and maybe I can. The difference that I see, for example, between the site at the beginning, but what is now, what you are going to see now, that has nothing to do with what was there in 2007. But in Brussels, for example, the Beta Plus site, that is something, the way we shouldn't not more build it. The site in Brussels, the site in BR2, the BR2 for the lutetium production, that are the concepts of having the clean rooms in the middle and everything, and the technical rooms surrounding it, and that was not exactly the way it was built, as far as I remember here. And not in Brussels too, but that's new. Yes, but it's again about 20 years later.
Yeah, it's 20 years.
20 years.
And so now a facility wouldn't be designed as it is here.
Yeah.
That's clear. If you have to design a new facility, if I have a sketchboard, I would
start from scratch.
I would design it differently than it is here. Here is just adapt to the situation, so it has been designed.
What do you mean differently? What maybe?
Well, it's historical decisions. The facility was built to house two independent players. So you have certain rooms where the other could not enter, for example. So this means that you create some kind of inflexibility in the design, which we open now, but you still see the historical decisions of that time. And also, it was designed here as a facility where you would produce under aseptic conditions, surrounded by a production area, a B zone, where operators would do the manipulations. Today, this is no longer the case. State-of-the-art systems are nuclear isolators now. So in this way, also a clean room is designed in a different way than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the concept you still have in Brussels at Beta Plus, where you're going from the D surrounding, you go into the C, and from the C you go to the B. You have an operator working in the B dressing, and he's opening that are wraps, like we say, restricted access barrier systems, but they are opening the hot cell. That's now finished. That's not more working this way. No, you work with closed systems, like Jan says.
Yeah.
So your team are responsible to produce, to synthesis different molecules every day for PET, for radio treatment, for SPECT diagnostics. How many people in your team?
So we are 11 in our team. So we have 2 radiopharmacists in the team.
Responsible for quality.
They are responsible for quality. They are also the let's say the qualified person in the facility. So with their signature, they release the batch that is produced daily. and they overview the quality and the quality assurance aspects of our production. I'm head of production. My colleague John is head of quality control, so that makes 4. We have we share a QP, radiopharmacist in training, with the hospital pharmacist. So in fact we are 2.5 pharmacists. So I'm chemist as a basis, as education. Ken, who is also a radiochemist, he's the CMC responsible. So he is somehow the between the academic development and the daily production. So he's R&D, research development, bringing new products until the moment that we can do them.
But when you talk about R&D, for example, having new kind of theranostics developed, new proteins, etc., is that assured by by the academic department of UGent? UGent, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's yes, of course. You need nuclear medicine facilities and radiopharmacy to just to synthesize, to create, to develop. But the finance and the studies, the clinical studies, and also the preclinical studies that's being done by ЮЗэд Gent or Gent University.
But we are completely part of university. But indeed, it's not our routine work. So it's our project work, and projects are financed in some way. So we have several sources of financing. It can be the fund for scientific development. There is also funding from university. We have also funded some research by the hospital itself, that we have been given some budget to develop something in the prospect of later being used in routine. So there's several.
With the possibilities, like you see now, what is coming up is the DCF pill. That's the pill Clary. That's one of the fluoride 18 labeled PSMA-like proteins. It's coming in now. That has been developed by a private funding, and it has been licensed. Curium is paying license for that development. That's something that you could consider also here at the university.
How many PET molecules you have today?
So in routine clinical use, we have FDG. We produce every day for about 30 patients a day. We produce choline. The choline production is once every 2 weeks. Before, choline was used for prostate cancer, not anymore. It's now
because
abandoned.
Of PSMA?
It's PSMA. That we produce fluor PSMA.
617 or
11.
11. Okay.
F18. As far as we know, we are the only one who produces F18.
F18, 11.
PSMA 11. Yeah. So we've developed. It's something that we've developed here, from the preclinical until the clinical application that we are doing now for 3 years in routine. So the choline we produce, we have FET, fat, brain research, brain tumor. And we've done some carbon-11 tracers. Now we don't do them anymore.
Why?
So, too expensive.
Too expensive? You mean consumables or the process?
The process itself. So you can produce one dose for a patient. So that has been abandoned. It was also partly in clinical study. So the study finished. but in clinical routine we don't produce them anymore. And then we have some tracers in development.
What kind of tracers?
That with the camera rolling, I don't elaborate on this one.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Good.
So this is something like 3 or 4 tracers, F18 label tracers that we are currently considering for development.
Do you see any growth, any activity from SPECT in SPECT chemistry or in this area?
It's been a long time that it was considered.
Down.
Yeah, we've seen if you purely look at volume, you see a slight decrease in SPECT and an increase in PET. But if you also look at the development, if you see the Siemens and the GEs or Philips, you see that they still very much invest in technology, SPECT technology. So this is this reassures us that SPECT will not be completely changed, will not be completely taken over by PET. And also the importance of the radioligand therapy. So the possibility to image post therapy to do that. So you see a development in this, and also you see new developments on cameras, etc., etc. So it's not a complete takeover of PET. Imaging.
I have to say, when I see at the time being the volume of iodine, Yoflupan iodine 123 that is supplied by Curium, that's, I should say, only for Belgium, it's about average at least 6 a week. At least Yoflupan. It's really Striascan, there's a Striascan. It's a continuous supply there.
Yeah. But in general, if you see the number of treatments, we see a slight decrease over the last 5 years. And in PET you see a slight increase.
Do you have maybe a dedicated person responsible for some engineering issues of your laboratory, or you are linked somehow with hospital technical support, or how it works in your case?
Well, we don't have like a lab technician or lab engineer. No, we purely rely on external support, or we have our own. We have our
even support
service.
of equipment supplier.
Exactly.
Engineering supplier.
So if, for example, we have a contract with IBA on the cyclotron, on the synthesizers, we have a contract with our OQ equipment, so our QC equipment. We have a service provider for a lot of technical things internally from the hospital.
And what about engineering part for HVAC or gases? It's also some outsourcing.
Purely engineering, or the maintenance? Maintenance.
Support.
It's done. It's just a big contract from the hospital that we are covered with. So we are not independent on this, so we just rely on the services that are given by the hospital.
These people responsible to change filters at time, to check the parameters, to be sure that
we are just responsible. We are overviewing the things, but we have, as the hospital has a contract for this, and so we are overviewing, we are considering, we are verifying that the things are done, but it's a contract. So it's
a bit of management. So you are responsible to.
Yeah.
To check if results.
Yeah, it's just a verification of results, and and where it is necessary to define together with the service, the engineering service of the hospital, or URS. If we are involved, it takes time, of course. They have to know, because we are a part of the hospital which is in the bottom, so we are not well known. So to make us heard, that whenever a new contract has to be negotiated, that they consider our specific needs. Why? Yeah, we are a nuclear facility, but and a pharmaceutical facility. So these needs have to be recognized, and so this is
For us, it's very interesting also because, as I told, we are working on our new project with Abai for the radiopharmacy production, and with Roland. We really want to make a very nice solution from scratch, because we have everything in our hands. We have a big plot, a big area. We have any kind of engineering support, and so we can really do what we want, economically reasonable.
Yes, of course. With do you know the company or the companies which whom you are working when it about the finishing, for example, of the clean rooms, the walls, that's all prefab, that's standardized. With what company are you working? Or maybe if you don't know.
I know because we did some modification to the work. I can look in.
Because in Brussels I was working with Janssen. It's a quite well-known company for that.
We have seen them all, because with this small modification that we want to do, and we are a public institution. So public institution here we have to tender everything, and so when we send out the tender for this modification, we did not get. In the first round, we didn't get any answer. In the second round, we didn't get any answer. We have done 4 rounds without any answer. Before purchasing department, they finally accepted that I have done my work in opening to the market, and so then I could select the one.
You could select.
Initially, I had an invoice. I had a quotation.
Quotation.
And that's I can find it, but they're local.
That are local suppliers.
It's a local company that does this work. Yes.
So your laboratory purely public?
It's the university hospital is a public institution.
So you must always.
Government.
But I think the limit was few years ago 83 or 85,000 euro. Below you could, let's say, go straight to the supplier, but there is a limit on it.
Yeah, we have two levels. So we have the a level which is very low, 8,500 euros. Below it, I can select my vendor myself. Between that and 30,000, I have to get 3 quotations, which I can then. I have to evaluate within the 3. If it's more then it's a tender, official tender that is published. And if it's
it has to be published now in the Journal des Communautés.
It's procurement.
EU, yes.
And then when it's an amount which is more than, I don't know how much, but it's European, on a European level.
I think that's for 85,000.
I guess.
Something like that. It's European quotation.
So, and then makes things more complicated. Anyway, it starts with the definition of the user requirement specifications, but once you have built them and you have started the tendering, you cannot modify them anymore.
That's,
And that is a risky business, because all the way, because it takes so much time that all the way, the moment that you really, when you published, and the moment that you really have to say, I'm choosing this, the situation can change.
And
So
that's
it
why
might take
you have
2 years.
be very careful when you're writing the URS.
But you cannot leave too much open for
There's a danger
filling in,
because when it's too long,
then
it's too
legal
small,
the legal department will not accept
Regarding URS, Roland mentioned this document. How you did it? You did it alone or with some support of consultancy? And, how long it took to really define a good concept from idea maybe
to build a complete facility? You mean, or
as I understood, in your case, it was like an upgrade, or
for this, yes, that we did ourselves. We have done everything. So when we purchase a synthesizer, we did it ourselves. When we purchase QC equipment, we've done it ourselves. But we have never gone through the phase of a construction of a new lab, for example. So that we have never done, and so we have not collaborated with a consultant on this. No, for so far we have built our own URS.
But when I see what it's like it is now compared to 20 years ago when the first development was made, didn't you ask the support of a study bureau or architects? Or
it was later. That was before my time.
Before your time,
it has been done internally. There has been
the technical internal services.
It was done with the university. So it was internal. Was purely internal. I would not recommend it now. I think things will go much quicker if you use the support of somebody who has gone through through this. It's just a gain of time. You can develop everything by studying, by going around, by learning from people. But I think it has value.
My best experience about that is when the building of the radiochemical facility of the BR2 for the production of lutetium chloride in Mol. They're the most efficient. At the beginning, I was contacted really at the beginning, and they had made they had made a sketch, like that, but that was not acceptable. And I told them, look, that was just about the time I was finishing working with Brussels, ЮЗэд Brussels, and I made the basic layout, but at a given time, we are not engineers. I have good concepts of that, but you have to give that to the study bureau. And your input is in the study bureau, where you have the expertise of architects and engineers. And just also the people on the floor who know, you can say it has to be like this and this, okay, but you have all the constraints coming in the building. How are you going to build that? The stability of the building, the stability, the HVAC is essential. How are you going to put the HVAC in that? You must take put in your mind that HVAC is very costly. It means that you have to make your design in such a way that you are reducing the volumes to be treated, etc. All those parameters when you work with, for example,
volumes, communication,
exactly,
the possibility of future changing.
And here in Belgium, what the name of the Mol is escaping me, for Leuven, that's the department of NG. NG, yes, which whom I'm working. So that are people. They have the engineers, they have the architects. You say I want it like that, and the architect has all the tools to make a nice plan. What I can do, of course.
Yeah.
And you are right. If you have to do that all on your own,
no, that's taking too much time.
That's too much time.
Yeah. No. And you forget aspects. It's good to have Yeah, it's always good to have a multidisciplinary team.
It must be multidisciplinary.
Which is presided by an engineer.
Yes,
And,
exactly. Yeah. And our role in that is like we did for the Lapino. You remember the Lapino project? That's the same approach.
Yeah. Now it's Matera.
Yeah.
What are you doing here with lutetium?
So we produce lutetium, PSMA, INT.
Produced. You are produced lutetium.
Well, we don't. Yeah, we buy the lutetium.
Right.
We buy the lutetium. In our country, in Belgium, there are, for the moment, 2 registered products. So the lutetium from ITG is registered in Belgium, and the product from Isotopia is registered. I don't know if the lutetium from Monroe is already registered, I guess, but it's not set up yet.
Turkey.
Yeah, from
Yes,
Turkey.
but it moves through Romania to make it a EU origin.
That's the place of importation.
And you have lutetium NCA.
Yeah, correct.
What is the reason some firm produced CA lutetium?
Well, that was the initial. It was the initial lutetium that was available. Was the carrier added, so produced from the lutetium, and it's later that the non-carrier added was produced. Just historically, it was produced. It's still being produced and still being used. So the Lutatera, for example,
it's still Lutatera,
still carrier added.
Carrier added.
So that was just available at that time, and now it's the non-carrier added that is becoming more and more available and being produced. So it's the non-carrier added that we use to label lutetium PSMA here.
And just for your information about the Lutatera carrier added. There is commitment of Novartis to have the change done for November of this year. At that time, Lutatera will switch to the non-carrier added because there is strong pressure for regulatory authorities, of course, since the non-carrier added through the Iterbium way is available.
Yep, exactly.
And you do lutetium only PSMA?
PSMA, correct.
And iodine?
Iodine labeling we don't do. No, we don't do iodine labeling. We buy directly the labeled compounds.
I see.
Yes, so it basically is the capsule, the treatment, the thyroid treatment that we do, but no production of iodine 131 labeled compounds.
When you start working with iodine, that you do your own labeling of iodine 131, for example, you have the emissions for the environment. Here you're in a highly urbanized area. The FANC, Federal Agency of Nuclear Control, will never allow that. The emission of
I suppose it will be very difficult here in our setup within the hospital.
Cisbio in Saclay, you know, there is a technopole around that was all filled. Now it's built. They lost their license already 3 years ago.
Okay.
It's gone.
Okay.
They may not more produce iodine 131 because it's too high risk for the environment.
Yeah.
And Dmitry, I have asked you, why you didn't have any treatment with actinium?
Why? Basically, it's a problem of availability.
Not about
actinium. It's also money, but availability of actinium for the moment is very low. So how to get actinium? Because when we want to label a compound here, the radionuclide itself needs to be registered.
Yes.
And there is no supplier that can provide actinium registered with a marketing authorization for the moment. So that means that we can do clinical trial. We can do a clinical trial and develop our own method of analysis and our own release for the product. But yeah, for the moment it's not available. Actinium available enough to do it. They're working on it. So they're working on
BR2 is working on
actinium, the production or the recovery in used nuclear fuels, and waste treatment, in fact. But not so.
I think that is busy with that.
It's possible. Yeah, we are looking for budget to do clinical study or preclinical. It's on the preclinical level, preclinical study on actinium. There are other ideas, other new interesting radioisotopes. And so there's lead that is coming up. Lead. I have to look. It's lead as a treatment. There is terbium. That has value, but still the availability for the moment is only for preclinical work and maybe clinical study. We are not there yet. We cannot produce, not yet produce therapeutic radiopharmaceuticals for clinical trial, because we have to do it under GMP, and we do not yet, for this production, we do not yet have a GMP license. So we are working on it, but this is going to be lengthy in time, and also we need investment for this.
When you go to GMP qualification, like Jan says, it means that you must have the heavy pharmaceutical quality system in place. And
for the moment our installation it's not possible to upgrade it to a GMP level. It is up to a level for our own internal production in the in the hospital's pharmacy, let's say. So it's not yet at the level of GMP. For this we need investment, we need a new production line. We are investigating. We are investigating and trying to gather our budget for this.
Do you have only public investment from your hospital or university, or you have private?
For the moment, we have no private partner for the moment. So this would also be a public funding or co-financing. But this is still something we have to investigate. If there is partnership.
Have you some order from a pharmaceutical company to investigate?
No. We are maybe, but that would be public collaboration with SEK, but nothing concluded yet.
Sorry, what is
SEK's Study Center for Nuclear SEK Studiecentrum it's nuclear investigation. It's a big nuclear investigation facility in Belgium.
Yes, and that's in more to the BR2, the reactor, the BR2, not experimental, but
it's experimental, but they do also production for nuclear medicine.
Ytterbium, for example.
25% of all isotopes, all radioisotopes worldwide are produced there, and the other 25% is in Petten. So
the Netherlands.
Half of the worldwide production is done in within a radius of 200 kilometers from here.
But also in Russia, you have production of isotopes of therapeutic interest.
Historically, there is a lot.
It's a big issue. For sure. We have many different sites, but if we are speaking about GMP, EU GMP pharmaceuticals, it's an issue.
1 week ago, we have been with Dmitry, is the biggest oncology center in Moscow. It's
COVID center.
no COVID, oncology.
Oncology center. Yeah.
And they also do procedure with lutetium. And they cannot told us what about this lutetium, what is quality. Also, we have discussed with another hospital. They have clinical study about actinium, and they told us about how it cost. It's a big mess in Russia. Yeah. We don't know what the lutetium, what the quality, what the clean.
Not a standard somehow that they have to, or a license that they have to. That's one of the reasons why, for example, in Belgium, pharmaceutical companies, they do clinical trials here because they know that the level of GMP and compliance with international standards is relatively good.
Yes.
Then you see that, for example, in Australia and in South Africa, you see that a lot of first-in-man trials are done because the level is relatively good, but it's relatively free as well and relatively promoted. It's not so strict. Yes.
But it gave a huge opportunity for the market growth, I think. What I see. I see actually, it's a very rapid growth of the market.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So, what's next?
Well, if you want to see the facility, I will be very glad to show you around. So keep in mind the setting. So we are a 20-year-old facility, which we gradually, with chirurgic precision, we modify things, but it's not a state of the art. I would design it differently, but we have so far found always a solution to our problem. So we've started with internal use. So now, since 1 year, we are also supplier of other hospitals. So we have a logistic setup. So we can supply tracers and therapeutics to other facilities. But we are not a commercial producer. So we are a public hospital. So our main concern is the care for the patients here and the care for the patients of our partners. But we are not blind for collaboration with private companies. Now, today, it's mandatory. So